please.
Yeah. When rain is falling in Nigeria, our network breaks up. It's not, that's our system.
Okay.
Don't blame my network.
Sorry.
Don't blame my side. Yeah, I think it's the weather now.
Okay.
2 weeks for our president is not too much.
It's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough. Yes, I agree with that.
So whatever he wants to go and do there, he knows the environment that fits him. When Jonathan wants to take a decision concerning the result of the election, he went into his room and shut his door. The environment, that is what he thinks at that time. Because if they are sat in one of their hall or one of his maybe a parlor or somewhere where he has 2 or 3 persons, one of these 3 persons might just change whatever could have happened. You understand it? But thank God, he knew the environment that he could have his thinking right. And he went there. If Tinubu feels that Ikotekpene is the best place for him to go, why not? If he feels that it is Ivory Coast, why not? Even if he thinks that Afghanistan or Russia is the best place for him to go, why not?
No,
as long as he knows what he's doing,
we won't let him go.
Get things right.
Okay, yeah, we won't let him go to Afghanistan. Okay. Now, hire military contractors to wipe off terrorists. Ndume tells Tinubu laments killing of 6 farmers in Borno State. That story is on almost all newspapers. The reps asking, or the National Assembly member asking the president to hire mercenaries to do the killing of bandits and terrorists and all that. Do you think that will work?
Is there at times when you hear some things, you just jump up, and then we say jump and pass, jump and pass, jump and pass. You see, if you are not ready, you can't get it right. There are rumors of the past when, let me refer again to Jonathan. We have a clip of video, I don't know if I still have it somewhere, where one of the white guys were interviewed and statements were made. My brother, just let's forget that side.
So mercenaries, for you, mercenaries is not a good move to bring to Nigeria to do the needful. Okay.
How many of them will be coming to Nigeria? Let me ask you a question. That we don't have such a capacity here. How many? How many of them? How many? Is it not the same country that some Americans were kidnapped and permission were given to their soldiers to come in? You call them the Marine Force or whatever you call them. Don't we have capacity more than them too? The soldiers, our military men here, have gone to countries to fight war and they came up triumphant. So what are we saying?
But there's always a talk that the security agencies are compromised, and if the president wants to do something, he has to think outside the box. So if they are being compromised, no matter how experts they are, it also means that their experts are doing or sabotaging the security of the country. So why wouldn't you think that mercenaries are good enough? When the Americans came here, they rescued their person within days. Few days, they rescued the person. So they had enough intelligence, which, of course, I'm sure that Nigerians have, the Nigerian security agencies have, but they're not willing to do the needful.
Oh, so you are telling me that when those guys come in, they are not going to work with any of the agencies? There's no way you can enter a man's country without getting a signal from the base. You must get a signal, for God's sake. You must. And if there's a linkage in any of this form, you can't get it right. You cannot. You must work with the people on ground. Why is Nigeria getting it all over the world? Let me shock you. Let me shock you. And you might even know this. When Nigeria took the decision in the days of Babangida to enter into Liberia and try to bring in peace in that place, the United Nations never thought that war is going to end easily. That is the first time they could imagine that the black man nation can control things themselves. At which war has the United Nations entered into? And they ease out the war within the shortest time. Come on, don't trust these guys. Don't trust this guy.
So basically, you say we should keep doing what we are doing, whether the results are positive or not. Okay.
No. I'm not saying we should keep doing what we are doing. What I'm saying is that we should be serious. We should be honest. We should be honest. Do you know the crisis that is going on in the south here? Do you know the numbers of kidnappings that is going on that is not being announced? How about? We should be serious. Let us know the problem of our security agent. If you include the Nigerian police, you don't want to imagine what they can do. In fact, if possible, they should go and invite DIO contractors for any other European country to come and stay in our road here. Do you know even our DIO, they are even worse than some of the things we are going through? Somebody where they stop your motor, go check in your own motor. You get the tire don't. When we are ready, we'll get things right.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, when we're ready, we'll get things right. There was a controversy in the national. There was a controversy. We're leaving that one now. There was a controversy in the National Assembly where the House of Reps members were kicking against the national honors. The honors that were given to the Senate principals of the Senate were not the same that were given to the House of Reps principal officers, and they were kicking against it because they said there was no equity, and the law covers that they will be treated equally, Senate and the National Assembly, even though they do a little bit of different jobs in the National Assembly, but they will be treated, especially the principal officers will be treated the same. So I don't know what your take is on that. Some were given Order of the Niger, some were given Commander, whatever it was. So that was the controversy there. What is your own take on this kind of controversy? Should that be a problem we will be addressing right now? Reps reject Abbas's CFR, demand GCO and like Akpabio's.
If I say you should jump and pass, you will say I don't want to talk. You remember this last song? Very important personality. PIP. Go and listen to that song. All this title, what does he give to us? My mother in the village don't even know what those titles are meant for. Me said, where are they here? I know what's in the title. I take help me. My brother.
But the thing is, the quarrel is that if the law states that whatever is done to the principal officers of the Senate should be done to the reps, I should feel that they're thinking that they're now showing that one arm of the National Assembly is greater than the other when it should not be like that. So it will now become like it's a divide and rule thing or a preferential treatment given to another. So for equity, for justice, they are crying out.
One arm. You say one arm. 200 arm. Instructed disco. These people where they give us life, that they should stop by A not to proceed. Them listing which law, which arm, which rules? Hello? You are talking about title. What matters to Nigeria? The National Assembly gave an instruction. Do they listen? The executive gave an instruction. They first gave an advice. They gave an instruction. Do they listen? You are talking of title.
So let them not just give the titles. If the titles are not important, let them not give the titles at all. Instead of giving higher titles to one group and giving lower titles to other group when it should not be like that. That is the quarrel. It's not about the titles. It's about how it is being given. So you choose one side of the National Assembly, which is a bicameral thing, and then you say, we should give you better ones than the other ones. So it just shows that this is how you regard the other one. That is the cry that they're crying. They're not talking about how important titles are or how not important, but the treatment or what the message that carries, which is beyond just pronouncement of these titles. That's their quarrel. Don't you think they are justified to do that?
Okay, please, elementary question, and from elementary knowledge, man. What is the importance of that title to Nigerians?
Then they shouldn't give at all. It may not be important. They shouldn't give at all. But if you are giving, don't give.
Or don't give at all. What is the important? The money where the message, the Christmas message they sent to their phones. Were you aware of that? The Christmas message.
It's called prayers into their inbox. That's what they called it. That's what the Senate president called it. I'm sending prayers to your inbox. Yes, we know that. We know that. But when the president, let me be the devil's advocate now. Not that I'm talking for them, but when the president begins to show that the Senate is bigger and better than the House of Reps, doesn't that give you a concern? Because no matter how unuseful those titles may be, it means that there is division in the National Assembly and it is being facilitated by the president. That is the cry. Don't you think it is a valid cry? The awards are not important to Nigerians. They should not even give it. But if they are giving it, shouldn't they give according to how it is stipulated by the law?
You know, concern me.
Okay, I know.
You hear that down? Very answers that said, pressure T1. You know that guy. Everything down there is expensive. So this one too, you know, consign.
Okay.
They like.
They
make number 2. Okay, change you na number 4. Then number 4 they carry out to number 5. You know even thank her. You know thank God. No be person here and fights for the position where they don't give at all. I beg you, second base.
Okay. Now, there is also this story on the Tribune, in fact, in all newspapers, saying many missing as boat carrying over 200 passengers sinks in Niger State. Sources say 160 feared dead and all that. So the only people they were able to rescue are 10. And the rest are either missing or found and buried. In fact, another newspaper said 150 have been buried already, which means another maybe 100 of them are still missing. Whether they will be found or not, whether any of them will be alive or not. But what is your general take on the fact that we always find these mishaps in Niger State and so many other states, not just in the north, sometimes in the south here as well? And what would you say to the level of or the stage our water transportation has come to? What do you think needs to be done? What is your general take on these avoidable disasters that happen to our people?
It's so painful when I hear about death. Death that is not called for. It's not an old age death. We're not fighting war. We're not in a situation of a polluted environment that suddenly we cannot control. It's a controllable issue, and it's just unfortunate that we care less about life anymore. This is not the Nigeria I used to know when I was much younger. It's unfortunate. I imagine in my head, how would a government be operating a system and such an occurrence is going on? How could a boat pick up 300 souls in a drive? Not a ship, not a ship.
Yeah.
A boat. What is the length of that boat, for God's sake? We just care less about human life. In fact, when I listen to news these days, even with due respect to your person, you see newscaster talking about death. There's no emotion anymore. Outside this country, you see the white man, whenever they got to a portion of an accident, you see the passion. You see the drive of the emotion in their looks. But here, it's just like every normal news. You just hear his newscaster we announced there's an accident that happened in so and so location, 3 people dead. Doesn't make any difference to us anymore. It's unfortunate. Who are we going to be holding responsible? The government, those who ought to see to the life of men. I want to say this, the Lagos state government is trying, and I believe some other governors could learn from some of the ways this honorable governor, like every other governor has done, is really striving hard to make the environment safe. Okay. It's tough, though, it's difficult, but it's a pity that we have lost souls. And I really sympathize with the family of those who are aggrieved now. There's nothing to say than to say the government should think about life. Yeah. Life. True. Life. Go to outside this country, they cherish animal, not to talk of life. Animals. I remember a time there was a flood somewhere. The president of America, in person of Donald Trump, took up a flying boat and went to console people in such an environment. I never traveled before, but for television and they watch them. You notice that travel.
Well, this is where we have to drop this morning. Thank you so much for being a part of our show and helping us make sense of the headlines. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you, and thank you.
Yeah. We've been talking with Mr. Shola Omolayo, a public affairs analyst, X-raying the newspapers. We'll take a break now, and when we return, we'll be looking at our first hot topic. Stay with us.
An African girl somewhere is sitting at home, accompanied by dreams that seem so far away. Africa is one of the continents with the highest out-of-school percentage in education, and girls are at an early disadvantage. The sub-Saharan Africa records about 18 million out-of-school girls. This gender gap extends to the tech space with a projection of only a 33% global female workforce representation in tech firms for 2022. Let us help change the stories and numbers. Africa Agility's Project Train a Girl campaign is working to help train African girls in tech. You can donate as little as $2 or 2,000 Naira to help a girl in tech get her heels in the door. Visit www.africaagility.rallyup.com/PTAG to donate.
Minding your mannerisms in public signals civility. Your behavior determines how others perceive you, and if you can leave a good impression, why not?
When it comes to that, it's about really making sure that you don't do something that will make people upset. So let me give you a typical example, public toilet, right? You want to walk into that washroom nice and clean, and at the same time, you want